Hey BFIT, welcome to episode 6 of the BFIT Boys podcast, where we have a new face, a familiar face, Mike Holden. We're going to start bringing on members just to hear more about them. Hopefully that'll give you guys more to talk about with each other while you're hitting some great workouts down on the floor. And so today is the Mike Holden day. We're going to just get to learn more about his fitness journey, what got him into the gym, and just whatever he wants to share. Just guys hanging out on the BFIT Boys podcast. So without further ado, let's get into it. Everyone give it up for Mike Holden.
Very good.
Right there during the podcast before you go, Mike, is where you need to, I don't know if you guys watch wrestling much, but Shane McMahon, whenever his intro song for wrestling, it would just come out and it would just be repeating like money, 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 money all over. That you need to have that playing in the background right after you say, yep. Yep.
I definitely like the sound of that. And, Jack, do I got this holding the right way? Yeah, there we go. We're good. That would be cool. I do like that jingle. That would be a good one. I never thought of that one. That's a good one. That's a good thought, Cody. But hey, feel kind of crazy being in here, sitting in Brad's seat. I don't fill this seat out near as much as he does, so I'm going to do my very best.
To Brad, when he heard that you were coming on, he was like, "Dude, I'm totally going to draw a 6-pack on my abs and run in here with no shirt." And I was like, please, we don't need another HR moment. With
Brad is full. It's a good thing he owns the business because he is full of HR questionable comments and whatnot. But I get great enjoyment out of it, though.
Good thing Charlie Cook's our HR. So.
Oh my gosh. Well, I don't know. I don't know if that's a big improvement there.
Oh no.
Yes.
But guys, hey, I really truly appreciate the opportunity to come on.
Hey, we love to have you on, Mike.
And you guys hitting me up to come in and talk about my fitness journey. I've always thought of myself as more of a wannabe athlete, and kind of grew up just around sports, and again, I always thought of myself as a wannabe baseball player, and so I've always stayed healthy. I've always stayed somewhat healthy, and always tried to stay in shape. I've played. Once baseball didn't pan out and got well into my banking career, and played a lot of competitive slow pitch, so that was kind of a way to stay active. Played a lot of recreation basketball, and but then being a father of 3 boys, at some point in time it was time to kind of coach and stay behind and coach.
Now, how old are your boys?
So my twins are they'll be 25 in less than October 2nd, so less than a month away. And then we got baby Tuck. He just turned 20 in May. Tuck's a BFitter. He's on his little sabbatical. He has to do a little sabbatical during Missouri Western football season. He's an equipment manager for the football team. He also helps with the women's softball team as a bullpen catcher.
I didn't know that.
Yes. So he is extreme. And then, this is their fall season where he's busy. He's catching bullpens. I've been teasing him here as of late. I guess he's actually been having to fill in. One of their catchers is hurt. So when they do inter-squad scrimmages and whatnot, he's been getting to play against the ladies.
He's got the hair for it.
So he's got the hair for it. He hasn't hit me up yet about, I almost created an HR moment right there. So he's going to stay a boy. And
we're like 2 minutes into the podcast. We've got like 3 HR moments.
He's going to stay a boy and just fill in.
Nice.
But he really enjoys that role. And he's even enjoyed his CrossFit. It's been so good to get him in. Had Brady and Brett here on Memorial Day weekend as well.
Murph right here.
Yes. They were in for Murph. Didn't freak them out. I don't have them lured in just yet.
Give it time.
I'm going to give it time. Brett tells me, they're big boys now.
The farther away you get from your athletic career when you're like a competitive person, the more CrossFit draws you in.
Bingo. You've hit the nail on the head, Cody.
It's like when you said wannabe athlete or whatever. It's like CrossFit is the home for wannabe athletes.
Well, that's it, and that's a great segue.
Is that a shot or a compliment?
I don't know.
It's a compliment.
I think it just is.
I think it's a compliment. My first taste of it kind of leads right into this. Brady and Brett, they're going in their freshman year of high school. And, they've been baseball players. We'd play 9 months out of the year. And they had made a decision after their 8th grade year. Brett had broke his thumb playing 8th grade football, and I think that's when he realized and missed a fall baseball season. And that's when he realized, I can get hurt. And he did not like missing fall baseball because of football. He loved football, but he didn't want to risk his baseball because of football. So he made a choice to not play football, and then I didn't want them to just twiddling their thumbs during their freshman year. So I reached out to Brad, and we enroll Brady and Brett and one of their peers, one of their buddies, Hunter Reed, and we signed them up to bring them in here. And I was not familiar with CrossFit, didn't know anything about it, and so we got them. And this was 13, I believe. I think my 10-year anniversary actually came up.
Oh, nice.
I think August of 13, and that was technically I did end up signing up at that time. I came in and watched the boys do it, and I thought, from sitting where I was sitting, I still thought of myself, again, somewhat still athletic at that time, and hadn't quite let myself go all the way. And
just part of the way?
Just part of the way.
Oh, okay.
Just
okay.
part
You were
of the way.
40 at that time?
Yeah, I would have been 40. And I thought, oh, man, this looks kind of fun, and I think I want to do this. So I signed up. I got hooked up. So technically my official anniversary date was August of 2013, and I stayed with it for the rest of that year, all of 14 and part of 15. Then I had to shut down at that point in time, not because of any health reasons. I loved it, and that's where I got a taste of. I always said, again, I'll back clear up. I thought, this doesn't look that bad until you get out there and do it.
I think that every morning when I'm looking at the workouts on my phone, I'm like, it's not that bad. And then you get halfway into yesterday's workout.
Those are the deceiving ones, man. The ones that look the best to you are normally the ones that are hurt the worst.
Sneaky. Yeah, some of them very sneaky. And that's what I'm doing. I'm as a guy who, I always bench pressed and when I was younger and
I can tell.
You're too kind. I bench pressed when I was younger, and I was back squat, and so I would lift weights. But again, I think I got to a point where I can't say that I enjoyed lifting weights per se. I would lift during the off season and get ready for the next softball season. I did have a goal going in. I think I was. At 29, I was 168 pounds. I'd lost some weight and was in very good shape. Kind of bulked up. I always had a goal to be 190 and wanted to had a couple goals in life. I wanted to bench press 300 pounds and I wanted to dunk a basketball. I accomplished one of those 2 feats. You guys
dunking a basketball?
No, I never got to dunk a basketball. I could get rim, but I couldn't put it through the hoop. So I did get to that, and I did accomplish that 300-pound bench when I was age 30. I did bench press 300 pounds, and I was weighing 190. So I kind of hit my peak at that point in time. That was where I kind of had maxed out. But then again, kind of fast forwarding again with the boys. You're sitting there watching after you've been, lifting weights your whole life, and you're watching people throw around 95 pounds or 135 pounds, and you think, well, that's not very much weight. Until you get out there and you try it. And
you do it a handful of times, and then
the number of reps, the rounds, whatever the Metcon may be, dude, it turns into a lot of weight real fast.
Yeah.
And so it was a pleasant awakening. So I've always said during that 2-year stretch, about a 2-year stretch over a 3-year period, I always came to CrossFit. I always drove to be fit. Usually not with a smile on my face. I was like,
just pissed off driving him.
This is hard. And but there was always. I finished that workout, and this is before there was any kind of competitiveness in me that it hadn't hit me yet. Quite, I wasn't there. It was just about me beating that WOD that day. And after I did that, after I complete the WOD, again, I may not have been smiling coming into the place, but I was always smiling leaving. And that's where, and that's where, even though I wasn't necessarily competing, and I still don't to this day, we rib each other about, how many reps you did. I'll get to that in a little bit, but all I cared about that day was beating that Metcon, beating that, getting through that WOD successfully in some way, shape, or form. Whether I scaled it, whatever, just getting from the beginning to the end.
Yep.
But that's where I did get that itch. At that point in time, I'd quit playing traveling softball. I gave my last full year of traveling around was 2007. So I really can't say, getting into 13 on, I wasn't really doing anything. At all, really.
So you had stopped like just lifting, going to the gym and lifting. Had it gotten like boring for you, or
I just didn't. I really didn't enjoy it.
Okay.
I realized that after I wasn't traveling around playing on the softball circuit, living with my buddies or whatnot during the summer months, I lost motivation to be stronger. I definitely lost motivation to go to the gym. But I would still flirt with it. I'd kind of get in and I'd go do it for a little while, and then I'd get burned out.
But you didn't really have any goals at the time. You were just going in to do it.
Correct.
Okay.
I was trying to just be old school. I'd try to get back in. Okay, well, I'm going to try to hit a body part every day, and you miss a day and you don't, and then you feel like, well, I can't do the rest of the week because I just missed back day or whatever it may be. And so then you have to wait till Monday to start up again. And, and
kind of whole the diet starts Monday mentality.
Yes, exactly. So I lost motivation to exercise. I didn't like this. And again, getting into why I love CrossFit so much and why I've gotten so hooked is I don't like having to come up with my program. I don't like trying to come up with something new. You guys on the last podcast, you guys talked about how you're creatures of habit, and I'll probably consider myself one, but then I would try to convince myself you got to do a different workout. You can't do the same thing all the time, but then sometimes I'd get through whatever program I came up with, and then I'd kind of be like, okay, I need a break, and it was just I don't know. It was too easy for me to take breaks at that time. And part of that was, again, I wasn't lifting for anything.
You didn't necessarily have someone there holding you accountable or something there holding you accountable. You're just kind of making it up as you go.
Yep.
And so if you didn't do it, it's like, well, didn't really disappoint anybody,
No.
So no sweat off my back.
Nope, no, none at all.
Yeah.
And so that that's something that I would ultimately struggle with, and then. So then you talk about, I talk about how I took a break from 15. I always told Brad I'd be back. I always said, I'll be back eventually. I'd joke that, hey, once I kind of get the kids off the payroll a little bit, Brady and Brett are, they were college baseball players, and, they needed, they wanted to lift weights at then it was called Snap Fitness. Today it's known as PR, and they wanted to lift weights and get stronger for baseball and kind of work on their, developing and trying to earn a college scholarship and whatnot. And so we'd gotten a family membership there, and I just was at a point, I just wasn't in a position to have a family membership at one gym and have me still come in here. So I just had to kind of take a little breather, and, but fortunately, we fast forward to December of 19. At this point in time, I'm 208 pounds. That's usually what it was. Okay.
December of 2019.
December of 2019.
I remember that Tuesday morning, Mikey walked in there.
December of 19.
Wait, how much did you weigh?
At 208 pounds. Oh, wow. I didn't have abs. I had a ab. I
had a single.
I had a single ab. I had a single ab. So December of 19. I'll probably say, even backing up a little bit, I would flirt every now and then with 200 pounds. And usually, probably even towards in 2007 when I was playing, I had teammates that would tease me. I had one of my favorite teammates that I'm back to playing with now in senior balls. His name's Bill Schaefer. And he would tease me about being fat. And this is back in like 2007-ish or 6 and 7.
How much did you weigh then?
I would flirt with 200.
Okay. Yeah.
So I would bounce between 190 and 200. And there was a couple times that I get, and usually towards later in the summer, because I would always exercise, from October to about March, give or take. And then I'd shut down the exercise routine. And my eating was terrible. Eating was terrible at that time. Even back when I was lifting weights or whatnot and working out, even during the summer months, my eating was horrible. And during my coaching days, eating was horrible. We lived on taquitos from Quick Trip. If I never have another taquito, the rest of my life from Quick Trip, and this is
Quick Trip coming too soon to St. Joe.
That's the rumor.
Stay away, Mikey.
That's the rumor.
Shoot.
But I am not lured by taquitos any longer. And then fortunately, then there was the dollar menus at the different fast food establishments.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. I couldn't afford to be a travel parent right now. A travel baseball parent right now. I'm glad I got my boys through. But no, my diet was terrible. And gosh, where was I on that? Where was I on that?
Saying
talking about
you're around 200 pounds.
Yeah.
So
and
okay,
your teammate.
the boys, Schaefer would tease me, "You're fat." And okay, usually when I get close to that 200 meter, that 200 weight marker, I was like, all right, I got to get back into the gym. I got to lose a few pounds, and I try to stay in that between that 190 200. So then fast forward to December of 19, I come in here, I wobble in here at 208 pounds and very out of shape, and I thought, wait, but you got to start somewhere. And I recognize that. Got to start somewhere.
Best time starts today.
Yes,
Yep.
and got to start somewhere. So I come in and again I started back up 2 days a week. And again, the one thing I loved about CrossFit is all I got to do is get here. If I can just get here,
show
It's all laid out for you.
these guys all laid out for me. And so I just got to get here. So I eased back in 2 days a week, December of 19. And now the other days of the week, I think at that point in time, I was still trying to get into a routine, during some, my annual physical or whatever, we talk about, hey, a 30-minute brisk walk. Dr. Rippey would always tell me every year, if you can try to get yourself to where you do a 30-minute brisk walk a day, something, move. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, cool. So I've always had that 30 minutes in the back of my head of exercise. So I would do that on those other days, but I was coming in here 2 times a week. I lost 8 pounds just like that. So this is December of 19. 8 pounds fell off, and I was getting into the month of May of 2020, and I was stuck. I was stuck at 200 pounds. At this point in time, golly, I was, late 40s, whatever that math is. I'm 50 now, so I've been like 47ish when I came back, and I'd never struggled to lose weight. So this was concerning to me. I'm like, what happened? I used to be able to, walk from here to walk a block and lose a couple pounds. I was stuck at 200.
Yeah.
And at this point in time, the only goal I had in coming back here in December of 19, guys, was I wanted to get back to 190. I wanted to get back to 190 or below. And when I got stuck at that 200 marker, for a couple, 2-3 months, it was concerning.
Did you, just a question to interrupt you here.
No, it's fine.
At that time, so you were so focused on the number, did you, notice any other like body changes throughout that time? Like,
I can't say that I did. I still felt like my clothes weren't fitting right, and so I don't think it's something I've always kind of preached to my bride. Don't worry about that number. Don't worry about the number.
That's why I was asking. 'Cause a lot
How's
of
the
people,
clothes fit?
A lot of people get so focused on the number that they don't see their body changing in other ways. Especially beginners or someone who came back after some time off.
Yes.
There's going to be that period where you're regaining muscle and you might be losing fat at the same time, so the number may not move. So that's why I asked that.
And that's again, the number was bugging me, but I can't say, guys, that I recall that seeing any kind of real change or feeling any change in my clothing or anything like that. So, and it probably really hadn't been that long of a time. I figured I came in December 1, I believe it was December 1 of 19. So I'd really only been back at it 2 or 3 months and lost that 8 pounds, and then just kind of hit a wall. And I felt stuck.
Were you going like heavier yet at the time? Were you starting to get a little bit heavier?
No. At that point in time, I'd kind of gotten where I'd dropped down to that 200 pounds, and
weightlifting. I mean, like
weightlifting.
lifting. Yeah.
No.
Had you started pushing back the weights yet at that time?
No. Because correct. I wasn't doing anything but really coming in here 2 days a week, and usually I was coming in on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I believe it was. I'd come in on Tuesdays and Thursdays, so I wouldn't even. If we were doing a heavy day on a Wednesday at that point in time, I think my day was. Well, it could have been. I was either Tuesday, Thursday, or Monday, Wednesday. I can't remember which it was.
I just didn't know if you'd been starting to push the heavier weights like lifting yet, so.
Yeah, no, I really don't think so. Actually, I think it was Monday, Wednesday. I think it was Monday, Wednesday, and when I first came back, it was Monday, Wednesday, and then the other days I would just walk.
Okay.
But it wasn't until so that May, Brad actually encouraged me to go visit with our then nutrition coach, Sam Merrick. Sam Merrick, I got to give her credit. I came in and I love telling this story. I kind of came in. She goes, Mike, hey, track what you're eating, and I can't remember if it was 2, 3, or 4 days. I can't remember what it was. But it was a pretty short stretch, and so I didn't realize how bad I was eating. I thought at that point in time I was still eating okay, but my kid, the guys were still in school, whatnot, and so we'd be at Mid Buchanan basketball games and whatnot. And Jen always carried hot tamales and Twizzlers in her bag. So I'm thinking, and they trick you. Those darn candy places, they trick you that they'll put. To this day, she'll grab some cinnamon bears every now and then, and it'll say on there, "No fat." No fat. So there's no fat,
but
no fat, but it's loaded with sugar, and I didn't realize it. I thought I'm doing, hey, no fat. I'd cut myself off dark soda at this point in time, but I would treat myself at these basketball games to a bag of popcorn and a Mountain Dew, regular Mountain Dew, and that was a lot of times my meal.
That stuff's good. It's been a while since I've had it. That stuff's good, man.
I tell you, it was my meal a lot of nights, twice a week or whatever those varsity basketball games were, and we're going up there to cheer them on, and I'm eating my hot tamales and
taquitos.
And no, at this point, no. I was done with taquitos.
The taquito era has come and gone.
Yeah, the taquito is gone, but sugar was going in like crazy. And so I tracked what I'd been doing, and I thought I was being somewhat kind of good. And, I didn't think I ate that bad. And I went into the office and...
Remember, it's not a good and bad, Mike. It's not a good and bad.
I know. Yeah, I know. I remember sliding my forms like a kid.
Mountain Dew and popcorn for dinner.
Well,
popcorn
that might be bad.
It's less nutrient dense than other foods. I'll say that.
Yeah, popcorn's not horrible if you don't eat. Yes, it depends on what kind, I think. But I do still treat myself to popcorn on a regular basis. But I remember like a kid turning in his homework, feeling pretty proud about what grade he was going to get. And then only to get, I felt, the kid from the Christmas Story or whatever. That's how I felt. I turned my homework into Sam, and she was so sweet. She was so polite. She goes, "Mike, you have a lot of sugar in your diet," and I was like, oh, okay. I didn't realize it, and so I kind of nodded my head, and all right, and I listened to what she had to say, and I took it all in, took it to heart, and went home. I kind of went home after that, and I think we were sitting at the kitchen table or whatever, eating dinner one night, and I alluded to, I'm eating too much sugar. I got to cut back on my sugar, I guess. That's why I can't lose weight. That's why I'm stuck. And that's when Brady Holden, that's when that ding dong, he introduces me to now what's probably, within a couple days of each other. I get my first Apple Watch. I buy my first used. I get a used Apple Watch. I buy an Apple Watch. I get that thing all lined up for me, and slap that on my wrist.
Like for health reasons,
yes.
So you could try to start being better at stuff.
Yes,
gotcha.
I want to do the ring closing or whatever, and that's where
This is where the new Mike Holden was born.
I'm almost ashamed.
The Batman era begins, baby. Let's go.
This is man.
Suit up.
Yeah. Right. It's turned me into a kind of a monster. So this is I think like May 30th. May 30th, I get my Apple Watch, and then at that same time, I think Sam told me, Mike, you just got too much sugar in your diet, and then I mentioned that, and then Brady informs me of the darn MyFitnessPal. And I become hooked on MyFitnessPal, and I gotta confess, I'm hooked on it to this day.
Autumns have been there, Mike. I
don't eat anything without logging it, and I've had some people, fast forward, and it's flattering. I've had people. We all love to be complimented. We all love to be patted on the back and encouraged. And Mike, you've come so far. I get people, if I had abs like you, I'd never wear a shirt. I mean, whatever the case may be, and it's that is so humbling. But to stay focused though, that's why I still log that stuff to this day, and people say, Mike, it's been 3 years or whatever, 3.5 years. It's been 3.5 years. Haven't you created? You talk about discipline in the last podcast, and I guess it's my lack of discipline that creates the discipline, or is that like a yogiism?
Sounds like it.
I don't know.
Kind of that whole thing. It's like if. Like a lot of people, they want to be free to do whatever they want, but it's like, oh, well, if you're eating and doing whatever you want, like not working out when you feel like it, then you're gonna have to be disciplined with like what you can do, because you're gonna get out of shape. You're not gonna be able to do a lot. But if you're disciplined on the back end and making those choices, then that gives you a lot of freedom, because your body can hold up and do things and go farther. So it's kind of just like you're going to be disciplined or free in one area of life or another. Might as well, choose which area that is, if that makes sense.
Sure. I mean, and so I guess, you hear about, God forbid, you hear about addicts, how, they fall off the wagon. Mm-hmm. Guys, I like to eat. Brad sits here and talks about how much he likes to eat. Guys, I love to eat, and I feel like if I don't track that, if I don't keep an eye on it, and I eat bad foods, you guys would be proud of me, Cody. I'm gonna get to Cody a little bit more as well. I ate a whole large Casey's hamburger pizza for supper last Friday.
Ooh. Did you feel guilty about it? I want to ask you that.
The only thing I felt guilty was those last 2 or 3 little slices. I wasn't even hungry. It was just about finishing that pizza.
Yeah.
I was on a mission to kill that pizza, and no, because truthfully, I had ate well during the day.
So the next day, did you wake up and just do a normal day?
Yes.
Was it just like any other day?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. Totally. Just any other day. I got up, came in here. I was in here by for 8 o'clock class on Saturday, and just went back to work.
Cool.
And
perfect.
But so
that's how it should be. You should not. Yeah. I don't want you to be like, oh man, I ate a pizza. I gotta go run 7 miles the next day.
Torture myself.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go do a jack run.
We don't want to get in that cycle.
So no, there was no guilty feeling at all about it.
Good.
I felt like I earned it, and like I said, I felt a little funny that I kind of forced those last couple pieces down, but it was just.
Dude, you know what I saw? Dairy Queen has 85-cent mini blizzards now.
Snapchat about that.
If you order on the app, and I went last night, it was so good.
Those
so good.
Peanut butter, peanut butter cup blizzards.
I know, you can't get much for under $1 these days, bro.
We've
so
been,
like a decent cup of ice cream.
I've been telling you, we've been making on this Ninja Creamy Breeze, a pint of ice cream like this, dude. But it's like you can make any kind of ice cream you want. Mm-hmm. This thing will turn anything into like an ice cream. Wow. It's crazy. Like recipes you can make on it.
It mixes it up so well.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
And it tastes like soft serve ice cream.
Love.
So we made like all kinds. We made like regular ice cream, made like protein ice cream, made like sorbet. Dude, it's so good. Yeah. Anyway,
we may have to make an investment. We may have to get one of those.
I know.
I like my ice cream, but then I got to get your guys' somewhat. I like to think there's probably got some healthier recipes. Jade's always
a couple of them.
I watch Jade what she preps, and I thought, man, that looks like a lot of work, but it looks healthy. So I got to give her props.
Side note: before we move on to pizza, I also don't want you to feel like you have to earn the pizza. I want you to feel like you can eat pizza, without having to earn it.
No, I appreciate that, and again, no, and by and that was the other thing. That's why I ate the rest of that pizza. Was I knew I didn't want those 2 or 3 little slices the next day. I'm like, no, I just got to take care of them today, because otherwise those little pieces would just tease me the next day, and then I'd just be flustered. I didn't have more pizza, but no, I do, and that's why I still play around with or still utilize my Fitness Pal as much as anything. It's just kind of something to kind of keep me. Just something to kind of just monitor,
like conscious. Or
because
thinking about foods or whatever.
Yeah, because I do feel like if I didn't do that, then I probably would. I may eat 3 large pizzas a week instead of just once in a while.
So one thing what I learned, over the course of kind of going through a similar thing with that is, because I tracked food for 3 to 5 years. I would consider that I had an eating disorder at the time, because I tracked everything, I weighed everything, it had to be measured, had to be logged for 3 to 5 years. And then
how old were you?
That was probably college, probably from like 18 to like probably when I started here, when I started here, 22 to 23.
So not too long ago, honestly.
No, 4 or 5 years ago.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Dang.
Because then I probably tracked off and on probably until a couple years ago, even like 2 years ago. And I guess I don't even know how. Over the course of time, I eventually learned that, if I don't track, it's not like my phone's gonna blow up, like just disintegrate, or like I'm gonna gain 10 pounds instantly. It's like I got to tell myself, like, I know how to eat. I've done this long enough. I know what's in food. I know what is healthy and unhealthy. I know, that I shouldn't eat this every meal. I probably shouldn't, have the 32-ounce Coke with my, go to Chipotle or whatever. I know certain things I can do here and there that to monitor my calories without having to monitor them all the time on my phone, and that was a learning process. That took a lot of time, but I eventually started like myself. I was like, is this taking away from like time that I could be doing other things or being present with other people, like being able being present, versus like, oh man, how much calories is in this food? It's probably 6 ounces of that, and just learning this, like, I know how to eat. Like, I know what is good and bad for me to consume, what is going to help me achieve my goals, what is going to help me perform in the gym versus what is not going to help me perform in the gym. And that's kind of how I had to shift. It's like, I could go eat a large pizza 2 or 3 times a week, but is that going to help me reach my goals in the gym or my aesthetic goals or, so on and so forth? No, probably not. It's going to satisfy me in the time, which sometimes is good, but the next day I might feel like crap and I'm like, man, why did I do that?
Yeah.
And that alone is just me like, well, I could have just went and got a Chipotle bowl instead or something. If I had to eat out, did something like that.
And kudos to you for being able to do that. And I've had that mindset to where I think, well, I could probably not do this. I think, but then I psychologically think, okay, well, there's a difference between being 50 and 27. And so I get extra spooked because I feel like, I saw how hard it was to get the weight off when I accidentally let that much weight get on me. And I saw how hard it was to where I had to, the only thing I truly monitor that I eat pretty much I'm not afraid of protein. I'll shove as much protein in steak as you'll put in front of me or chicken or whatever. It's the sugar. I try to watch my sugar content, and when I cut the sugar out. Have
you just mean all sugars or just like artificial sugars, like food, like candy sugars or like fruit too?
More of the artificial.
Okay, I was
more
gonna say
of the
because,
candy. No,
and I don't know if you ate like 4 apples a day. That's a good amount of sugar, but I don't think you're going to be putting on much weight eating 4 apples a day.
That's one area where, and Sam, that's another thing. Sam had told me same thing. She said, if someone says you're eating too much fruit, you need to throat punch them.
I can see her saying that.
So even though I try to be aware, because I'll pile in. I love fruit, so I'll pile in a bunch of fruit. But I kind of if I've had that and happen to have a candy bar or something, it moves my sugar meter up on my fitness pal. I kind of like, I don't count those sugars, what little sugar I had from the fruit that I ate earlier that day.
Yeah. So what was the switch? Well, first of all, is that why you go on walks all the time, like before and after workouts? Because like walking was like that first step.
Yeah.
Getting back into it.
Thank you. Yeah. Thanks.
Because I see you walking in the pitch black at 5 and 6 a.m. Always going on walks.
So I talked about how I went from 2 days a week and then got into 3 days a week in 2021. I thought, well, then that's when I picked up that 3rd day a week. I started coming at that time of June 1 of 2020. I started coming the Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. So that's when I picked up Mondays and Thursdays, and then from there. Then I really picked up the walks and the interval running, the sprint, fast walk intervals on those off days. Guys, I get tired of being on that track, and I don't like being on that track.
No one likes being on that track.
No, except for Jack. Jack likes that track.
But some days, man.
It's hard. But I thought, and then getting back into the CrossFit side of, they program this stuff to where, you thought back when you were a weightlifter doing your weightlifting stuff that you'd hit a body part every day. Well, I know they're programming to the idea of, well, we did this on Monday, so we want to be careful that we don't do this again for a few days or whatever. I know they're monitoring all that. I know the coaches are watching all that. So then became, I want to start trying to come 4 days a week. I want to try to see how my body reacts and get me off that track as much as possible. So that kind of then eased in to then ultimately going from 3 days a week to 4 days a week to then 6 days a week. And But all this time, Cody's telling me you got to have rest days and whatnot. So I still do the walks. Sunday's my rest day, usually before church, either before church or after church. I'll get a 4 mile walk in. And it's not a race walk. I'm not speeding. He told me if I went on walks, that was fine. Just better not catch me running. Because there'd be times I would go to do that on Sundays, and I would want to just get that 4 miles over with. And I felt, kind of Forrest Gump. I felt like running. And
you can recover running if you're going slow enough, staying in zone one. And then your muscles are stretching.
my juices get flowing, and
That's what I tell myself.
Juices get flowing, and I take off. So no, I do
It's a lot easier to recover when you're not going that fast.
Yes, it is. And I do my walks and on Sundays. But then even before, as I was kind of getting in, coming in 6 days a week, whatnot, I would then go for a walk after class. Some of that was a cool down, It gets warm in it gets warm in here in the summertime. And sometimes I think it started out just being a cool down before I shower and put my work clothes on. And during the summer of when it's not, and I had to it was kind of it served as a cool down as much as anything. Mm-hmm. And then Brad started kind of talking in my ear a little bit about, hey, you want to consider some programming and whatnot. And so he planted the seed. Now I can't tell you how many weeks went by, and because there were several weeks that he kind of planted the seed about maybe thinking about doing something extra. Mm-hmm. So that kind of got me off. I thought, well, I'm always kind of taking this extra 20, 30 minutes a day and doing a little walk. And then I think winter came, and then it got to be, Jade would be in here a lot. During the 6 a.m. hour. I was always kind of married to the 6 a.m. class, and I'd stick around for a little bit during the 7 o'clock hour and kind of do a little bro lift with Jade from time to time. And then through that, Brad would still kind of just say, hey, you got to consider this. And it was probably happened sometime around, I can't tell you that I remember much about participating in the Open. Kind of fast talk about the Open a little bit in my progression. I don't remember the Open 2021 really. I know we did a WOD the other day that talked about 21-1.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yesterday we did that.
And I was like, I couldn't go back, and I track my workouts now as well, but I didn't always date them, so I couldn't go back and find that to see it. I was tempted. I'm fighting a little bit of an injury on Achilles that Cody reels me in, and I was tempted to want to do that workout the other day.
I'm glad you did.
With the jump
I was
roping.
coaching. I wasn't going to let you
wasn't,
do that
and I was like,
anyway.
Cody's going to be there. He's not going to let me.
I
wanted to do the workout, but I tried to even go back to see what I did, and I could not pinpoint that exact day to see.
March 12, 2021.
Well, I wasn't labeling my. So I have about almost a year stretch to where it's just workout, and I track it, but I don't have a date.
Yeah.
So I can't go find it, or I don't know for sure. I was like, I'm going to spend too much time. Talk about spending too much time and taking away. I was like, okay, no, and I'm not going to do it anyway. Cody's not going to let me do it, so I didn't look. But I think I feel like maybe I hit a different level mindset. I think it was October of 2021 I did my first competition. Brad encouraged a lot of us from the gym to go down and do 816.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I got myself and my 3 teammates, we did a 2-guy 2-girl competition down there, and I enjoyed it. I liked it. It was just fun kind of being in that moment and having teammates and cheering each other on. And I think that's another thing I love about CrossFit is, it can be competitive, but even when you're with other gym there's people there that want to win the thing. I know you want to finish in that top 3 every time you guys compete. I'm sitting there, wow, they took 4th. That's awesome. And Cody's like, nah, man, we should have took 3rd at least.
When you take 4th 4 years in a row.
No, don't bring up his PTSD. No.
But I'm so proud of him. So I try to live through him, and I think that so that's another thing. I look up to these guys, and and so I kind of thought, well, I want to try to do that too. And then you get into the Open of 2022, and at that point in time, I have to go back and look and see when I actually started my programming with you, Cody. Do you remember? Do you know when that was?
Oh man,
I have it tracked. I have it. I'm not going to look for it, but
I'm not 100% sure.
I have to go back. I have to go back and look and see. But I'm curious. But it had to be somewhere. I think in early in. No, I know when it was. It was a year ago, August. It was August of 2022.
Okay.
But so it was at the end of that ball season. I waited till Brady's Mustang season was over.
That's right.
I waited till Mustang season was over because I knew I was going to have to try to get myself acclimated to getting to bed at some, still not enough. I still don't get enough sleep for Cody. Still not getting enough sleep, but I still had to try to get myself where I thought I was at least going to be okay. And because I knew I was going to probably have to start hitting 5 a.m. at that point. My buddy Natalie, she teases me. I'd come in at 6 a.m. and then I'd do my programming but I wouldn't get to work. I'd be walking into the office at 5 or 10 after 8, and she teases me, "Aren't you the boss?" And I'm like, "Well, yeah, but I got to set a good example for my employees. I don't like walking in at 10 after 8." So that's kind of what shifted me to coming in at 5 and then being able to do my programming 4 days a week during the 6 o'clock hour, and then being in the office typically no later than 7:30. So that's kind of where that started, was last August. But it was during the Open of May of 2022. I got my first bar muscle up. And and I would say I accidentally qualified or accidentally made the quarterfinals for my age group.
Nice.
I was 49, and qualifying kind of gave me a little extra motivation that I thought, well, I want to, I knew at age 50 the weights should drop. The weights will drop, and maybe I should be even better. So that kind of excited me to get into programming and trying to get better at some movements. Unfortunately, I got into the Open of 2023, and I didn't finish in the top 10%. I finished in the top 12%, and so I didn't.
Well, the weights didn't come down either.
And the weights didn't come down in the Open. That was it would have been the Legends workout this year that I would have had the opportunity, but unfortunately, I'm a little banged up. I'm still a little committed to committed to my senior softball, and the Legends just finished up,
wrapped up. Yep.
And I was looking at a couple. Did we have 3 people or more than 3?
Jace did it. Brad did
Jamie,
it.
Jamie, and Brad. Was there anyone besides those 3?
I don't know if Joe did all the workouts or not. I know he did a couple. He might have done them all. Joe Knorr might have done them, but I'm not sure.
Good for Joe. I hope so. Okay, that'd be great. I've enjoyed having Joe in, and another one that he's a good cheerleader, rah-rah guy, in that 5 a.m. world. So it's been good to have Joe come in and be working out with us. But I wasn't able to compete this year in Legends because of softball and because of some injuries.
But you're going to Miami, though.
I'm going to
Las
Miami.
Vegas, wherever.
One of those tournaments. Yeah, the tournaments we won in Colorado. That gets us to go to Florida in January. But before then, I got two more tournaments this month, and then I'm wrapping it up, and then hopefully get that Achilles healed, because I was just getting in the double underworld. Just getting to where I felt comfortable doing them within a Metcon. And but every time I get into the sprinting, I come off of a weekend of playing ball is when it bothers me the most. But I don't want to give up my ball either. Especially being one of the babies on the team. These guys are all a little bit older than me, and I'm supposed to. They tease me that you're in better shape than all of us. Why are you hurt? So. I don't know. I think it's because I still die for balls.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Got to sacrifice your body.
Sacrifice the body for my teammates. I'm still playing like I'm 35. But
so you got to remember, Mikey, we're in the Masters division now.
Yep, Masters.
Take care of ourselves a little more.
Masters division.
So what was that like switch for you? Because you said when you first started coming, you drive to the gym, like not all excited maybe. More than just like the physical, what was that like kind of mental switch? Because nowadays, like even this morning, like when you said good morning to me, it was like really energetic. Good morning. And I just woken up. I'm still groggy and grumpy, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I don't know how.
Jack looked like he sleptwalked to the gym.
Dude, I don't know how people can have so much joy at like 5 and 6 a.m. I'm still waking up. So I don't know. What was that like switch for you?
I think, again, just being and just being in love with CrossFit as much as anything, and then as you make progressions. I know you talk about being a skinny runner to how what you've done to yourself to make yourself stronger and get over that fear of putting on more muscle mass and not have it take away from your running times. And and once you realize and you graduate, and every now and then you get in a rut. But I think for me it was, getting, I still remember when I was doing banded pull-ups, and that's probably what I'd like to let other members know. I mean, when I was here those 2 years, I did banded or that 2 year stretch there. I did a few pull-ups, but for the most part during the Metcon, I did banded pull-ups, and there's no shame in that. But as we talk about, scaling is cool, but there is a sense of, once you do graduate on to something, or move up to another level, a different modification level, to the point where, okay, now you're finally doing it, and then you do get that first bar muscle up, and or whatever, and then at that point, I think at that point I'm just hooked, and I just
kind of get some momentum and some wins under your belt, and then you just keep going.
Probably another step of that was coming on Saturdays. I wasn't sure about Saturdays. I wasn't sure about this whole partner WOD thing, and I still remember my first partner WOD. Nicole Beck was my first partner ever doing a partner WOD. I usually wanted to come. And that was the one time, we tease me about being in box number 3 all the time. I stole it from Brian. It was my 6 a.m. box. Now poor Brian moved to 4, and now he's moved all the way down the other end of the gym.
You just shoved him in the corner.
Pushed him. Yeah, I felt like he's just running away from me at this point. But he was kind enough to
bullet him.
I guess, but I didn't kick him out of box 4. Although Natalie always wanted box 4, and you don't like getting Natalie too riled up. The Saturday workout, I'd show up and I'd try to go hide in a corner somewhere, hide in one of the other boxes, and I just wanted to do the Saturday workout. I wanted to half it and do it by myself. And I tried to sneak in here and do that. And I think I was successful a couple times, until one time, I don't know what it was, but again, Nicole Beck was looking for a partner, and Brad said, "Oh, hey, Mike, you got a partner?" And I was, "No." No, I don't. So he, "Hey, Nicole, be your partner." Yeah. And then, so that was probably the beginning of, and the whole Saturday thing, and then start to feel that it's not just me showing up and beating the WOD that day. Now it's trying to become part of the community, and I think that has helped make me come here with a smile, more so than my first stint. Was just knowing that, we all whine. A lot of us whine when we're closed on holidays. Go be with your family, Brad says. Well, a few of us look around, and there's some people that will raise it. This is my family, and there is that family feel. Mm-hmm. And I think once you get beyond the idea, it's like, crap, I got to show up and do 50 wall balls twice today. I didn't do that, by the way. I did heavy day, but I can see where, looking at that last night at 8:00, thinking, I'm glad I'm doing heavy day. But driving here now, I don't think so much about, well, I'm about to get my butt kicked. Now it's about, I'm going to come here.
Well, now I'm getting my butt kicked with 12 other people too. We're all getting our butt kicked.
I'm going to get my butt kicked with my friends, and then that's why I'm the obnoxious 5 a.m.er.
No, we love it. We love it. We need more of it for sure.
Well, I'm glad to help bring that. Some people find it annoying. Like my wife.
Should have had Jen in here on the podcast. That would have been entertaining.
Oh my gosh, that would not be safe. I don't know what she would say, but no, she's been very supportive. Of my nuances, and she's used to me, logging my stuff in, and I've got her finally trained to where if she makes something at home that has a box, she knows not to throw that UPC code away until, because I've been known to go
scan that.
I've been known to dig in the trash at home to find that UPC, so she saves me from that now. She saves me from that now. That's awesome. But she gives me a hard time in the process.
Yeah. So do you have any other hobbies, like when you're not in the gym or playing softball?
Ooh.
Like if you're just chilling at home, what are you doing?
Well, I was going to say my hobbies work.
So I was going to ask that. I was going to say, so was banking like kind of in your family, or what made you want to be a banker?
No. No. Again, I was always around fitness. When I moved here from Emporia, Kansas, I worked at a rec center. One of my proudest moments is being able to tell my kids that I used to get paid to play basketball. And I was literally on the clock at Emporia Rec Center getting paid to play basketball.
That means you're a professional.
Yeah,
if you're getting paid to do it.
I have a W-2. Why, being gym supervisor, playing basketball with kids, and so no, I loved it. I think I think I've always thought kind of like a banker. I wasn't sure when I was going to college if I wanted to get into education or business. And ended up going the business route, and to this day I'm glad I did it. It allowed me the opportunity to coach my kids. I mean, I coached my kids through baseball, and I admire I admire high school coaches, but I know there's times where they're stuck coaching their high school teams. Where they still help with their kids' teams and whatnot, but maybe not at the same level because they had a commitment to this high school. And I'm glad I didn't have that tug of war going on. And so when I came to St. Joseph, Missouri in 1994, I had 3 semesters of college left, and as a business major, I thought, well, it's time to maybe try to get something in my field. And then I actually worked for the Y for a little bit. Y hired me on the spot because of my experience at Emporia Rec. I had applied for what was then Mercantile Bank, which is now U.S. Bank. Today's world, they didn't have any teller spots open, but 2 or 3 months later, I got the phone call that they had a teller spot open. That was the beginning. I took a teller job, worked that through my last year of that, through all of 1995 to my last year of college, and I'd see the other loan officers there, and I really liked those guys, and I kind of liked what they did, and I loved the concept of calculating debt to income ratios or loan to value or whatnot, and I knew at that point I knew I wanted to be a lender. I knew I wanted to be a banker, and the rest is history. I got my first job opportunity January 2nd, 96 was my first big boy job, and as a junior loan officer, consumer loan officer, but I knew I wanted to get into the commercial world, business loans, and so after about a year and 9 months, I had the opportunity to go back to Mercantile Bank and get into their commercial loan department as a credit analyst, and then they eased me into commercial lending, and the rest is history.
You made your way through the ranks, and here you are.
Yeah, here I am today, and
VP or
which is pretty common in the banking industry.
I don't need to know that. I don't need to know that.
It's pretty,
Vice President Mike Holden over here.
I am glad to manage 2 facilities, but my passion at work is not so much the management side of things, but my passion is lending. I love being a loan officer.
Yeah.
So that's really, that's when I'm not at the gym, I'm at the bank. If I'm not at the bank, I'm at home, and I do enjoy fantasy sports.
I would say you're a big sports guy.
I'm
Fantasy
a sports
football,
guy. I still follow
KU football, KU basketball.
I still follow. I love college basketball particularly. I don't follow the NBA as much as I did when I was doing fantasy basketball. I used to do fantasy NBA basketball, but once I gave up doing fantasy NBA basketball, I kind of lost. I didn't follow it as much, but I still, I still love fantasy baseball and fantasy football.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Like a lot of what you do is like logging and numbers, because you talked about logging stuff for food, and then it's you're running numbers at the bank, and then you're checking stats for fantasy. So it's all kind of that, I don't know, numbers,
it's all numbers
tracking game, something, I don't know.
And I love spreadsheets. If anything, I lost my advantage in the fantasy world. I probably, nowadays, for little or nothing, you get subscribed to, sources that here's projections. The old way I used to have to do it, you go buy 3 magazines, all right? You buy these 3 magazines, and I'd set up this spreadsheet, and I would try I'd set up this Excel spreadsheet, and then try to smash these 3 magazines together and build my own cheat
plug
sheets.
Everything in
and plug everything in myself. Wow. I spent hours putting my cheat sheets together. Now, I could put my cheat sheets together in probably 30 minutes. And
there you go.
So now my kids tease me because they're better at being able to rattle off players' names.
Well, I was gonna say, what app do you use for fantasy football? 'Cause we use the Sleeper app, and then it has projections and updates and stuff on there.
Yeah, there's so many different sources now, but the one that I've always kind of watched and monitored was called Roto World, and And I've always used Roto World. I think now NBC, owns the rights to Roto World now. So I still look at Roto World, but there's just so many different ones now that are actually affordable and whatnot. I'll never forget, fantasy sports used to be super expensive. When I first got into fantasy baseball in the mid-'90s, we had to use we used a stat company out of Baltimore, Maryland. And we'd get our stats mailed to us once a week. And
Wow.
It was so expensive back then because you had the stat service compiling everything and
So
mailing
you had to
these
win.
reports.
You had to win your league to
Dang,
stay
bro.
positive.
Back then it was you just wanted to finish fifth just to, so you'd have to pay that entry fee ever again. You wanted to win, but the goal was just to finish fifth, just so you didn't have to come, pay that. You always got your entry fee back if you finished in the top 5.
Yeah. Hey, that's commitment right there.
So it is,
but outsourcing your numbers.
Yes, but then again, technology kind of takes over everything, and then it, that poor company's out of business now. By now, I'm sure, but and then it kind of takes the fun away of, I can't rattle off players like I used to because I'm not having to research them as much. I get this service that spits it out that says I should take player 1, 2, 3 as the third pick or whatever.
Yeah,
and
that's all I know. So. That's just on the app. It says top best available, best at each position, and then I just scroll through, look at what I need and draft that position, man.
To me, there was just more satisfying that if you went through the work of coming up with your
yourself.
own, do the work, and then win the league or finish high, there was a sense of gratification that I earned this. But then now it's like even the team that finishes last every year can pay $20 or something to some service and spits them out some projections, and I don't know. It just, to me, I don't know.
And you still got to draft a team. You still got to draft a good team.
No, but I don't know. I guess it is good for my family that I'm not wasting as much time putting the cheat sheets together anymore. It just gives me more time at the bank, I guess, probably as much as anything. But
more time to log those meals.
More time to log my meals. Exactly.
There we go.
For sure.
There we go.
But I do have to say. Cody, I just appreciate what you've done for me. I appreciate you, and there's been times where it's not your day to coach, and I still hear, I still hear Cody in my ear because he's not here because it might be a Thursday. So Brad's not even here to babysit. We got Riley, and Riley doesn't, Riley knows me from being teammates with Brady as much as anything in the Missouri Western days, but. He doesn't know my body yet, like Brad and Cody, and so I'll still we're strong on our faith. We talk about what would Jesus do. There's times what would Cody say? What would Cody do?
Hey, he's a good-looking bearded man.
There we go. Got the long hair, shaggy hair going on.
What would Cody do? So I know if I'll hear if I think Cody doesn't want me to do something, I'll scale it back so I thank you for being that ear.
My pleasure.
Being in my ear. Even when you're not here, you're in my ear. I'm always my conscience is always you're always right there.
There we go. I'm on that left shoulder.
Shoulder, yeah. Mikey, Mikey's that good idea? No.
300 double unders. Is that a good idea?
I do want to get back to that. I do want to get to doing those.
We'll get there. Don't you worry.
We're gonna, like I said, we'll get through. I got 2 more ball tournaments to go, and looking forward to them. And then I get a little break until the end of January. Like I said, we go to Florida, but to play. But
nice. That's a long season. I feel like you've been playing for a long time.
We got started in March.
Holy cow! You go March to January?
But we went through March and April. I think we only played there was a couple stretches there. We only played 1 tournament a month or whatever. So I felt like we played 2 when it was really cold, and then we kind of had a little lull there for a little bit. And then we hit a hot spot here just a few weeks ago where we played 3 out of 4 weekends. But outside of that 3 out of 4 weekend stretch, we probably never played more than twice a month.
Yeah.
And
you had some rainouts quite a bit early in the season too, right?
We had a little bit of rain. Fortunately, in one of our tournaments in St. Louis, we had hit some rain. Thank goodness, because I was hurting. I was hurting, and that was. I think we had a couple. And I've never wished for rain. I never wished for a ball game to get canceled, but I was hurting bad enough that there was 2 games that I didn't have to play. So it was nice to be able to try to save up a little bit for what was left in that tournament. No, I'm definitely anxious to heal.
Rest, Mikey. It's what it's called. Rest.
To rest, and I need to rest. Yeah, I definitely need
You
to
might
rest.
have to add in. You might have to, may not like yours. You might have to take out a day, doing a Metcon, add in a walk. Or, might have to take out one of those days, let your body recover a little bit.
Well, okay. All right. Well,
Or you could just do the double unders on one foot. Yeah, right. That's how you rest the other Achilles.
Then the other Achilles.
Dude, Roman Krenikov did that in the CrossFit Games. He broke his foot and then had to do he did the last event, or second to last event, with 1 foot doing double unders.
Are you serious?
Way.
Yeah.
And he finished?
Well, he didn't finish, but if he wouldn't have done that workout, he would have got 0 points and he would have dropped to like 7th in the points. So he had to do it. So he did like 4 rounds of 30 heavy rope double unders with 1 foot on. With 1 foot, I mean.
Dude, his calf must have been
That had to
the size of his thigh.
Yeah, I don't know. It did not look fun, dude. It's very impressive, but it did not look fun. But needless to say, I will not allow you to do that, Mikey.
Yeah. No, I'm not. No, I'm not going to try to make that happen. By no means. But I'm kind of disappointed. Brad is doing his double under seminar this Saturday because I'm playing ball this weekend. But the idea of, dang it, if I wasn't playing ball, I would have wanted to. wanted to do that.
Yeah.
But no, we'll get through these last couple weekends and kind of hopefully. Get that healed up a little bit, and because the only thing that aggravates it is double unders and running and sprinting. Doesn't bother me to go on long runs. Doesn't bother me on the long runs. It bothers me the sprinting. The sprinting is what's getting
high impact.
The sprinting, and it'll aggravate. It does not feel good to sprint.
Yeah.
Well,
Doesn't feel good for me to sprint either. And I don't have anything injured, so must have been born that way. But it is 4:02. I don't know. We planned for an hour, Mikey, so I don't want to get.
Do we have any closing remarks on?
Yes, anything last. We're not in a rush, but we won't want to be respectful.
I'm
of your
going back
time.
to the bank. And I had a client, I had a customer said, Mikey, hey, have you got a chance to look at that yet? And I'm like, no. But I will get back in touch with you today before I go to bed at 10 o'clock. And so that
Nice.
No, tonight will be a little bit of a later night, but it's again, for me, I'm fortunate. Work to me is almost not work. I enjoy it that much. So I'm very blessed in that
That's
department.
great.
But I just ultimately I really overall I appreciate everyone's support in our gym and our community.
Yeah.
The encouragement. I think that's the thing that helps me come with a smile on my face every day now is just knowing the family, my fitness family that I get to see, and I love being able to kind of help be a part of something that we're holding each other accountable. And I think again that's what's kind of gotten me hooked. I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan for any middle-aged person. Definitely, someone like myself, that if you still have that little competitive itch, whether it's just you competing, whether you're starting where I began, or you're competing with the WOD that day, to the idea of I think I will go do a competition but even then, if you finish high, great, and if you don't. I love just the overall CrossFit family of, hey, great job, you killed that workout. So
would you say that's part of what motivates you? Just being in the community.
Yes.
And
Yeah, very much so. That's probably the biggest piece of it. Obviously, you want to try to help. You want to take care of your own body and try to be conscious of your health, but. As much as anything, it's just helping to encourage other people.
Yeah, especially with you guys at 5 and 6 a.m., the big, good group that you guys all have, doing abs together off to the side and linking up every morning.
There's some of this, and I remember when I used to come to the 6 a.m. regularly and see the 5 a.m. class, and thought, man, these guys are crazy because they were hardcore and getting up every day. And then a lot of that 5 a.m. class, they come at 6 a.m. on Saturdays, and I look up to that crew. They work hard, and never did I think I would be in that 5 a.m. slot. But again, I got priorities to where I want to come in and get my work done and get to the office at a good time that it still allows me to get plenty of, take care of my customer base. So now I get to be part of that 5 a.m. craziness.
Yes, sir.
But it's great. It's great to be a part of the CrossFit family, and I think that's definitely what keeps me coming back.
Sweet.
Cool. Sweet. Well, we appreciate Mike Holden taking some time out of his day to come on. I just love hearing people's stories, and then especially, people in our community that we see day after day, morning after morning. Even if we don't talk to them, I don't know. There's something just about consistently showing up for the people around us. So I love hearing stories and want to give a lot of people that platform. So if you like this podcast, if you like the style of podcast where we bring members on, get to hear more about them, hopefully that'll give you guys more to talk about. Be sure to like the video or just talk about it while you're at the gym or bring it up to a coach or something. Because I don't know. We're always spitballing ideas and we don't know what people
ask
like.
Ask us questions. Ask us questions.
Yeah,
we love
ask us
answering questions. I love answering questions.
Mm-hmm.
I hope you guys like listening to us ramble about our answers, but I enjoy the heck out of it. So
yep, and we always want to make content, but we don't know what people like to consume all the time. So be sure to express if you like this kind of style of podcast or just have questions, ideas. We appreciate it. Thank you, Mike, once again. That was episode 6 of the BFIT Boys. We're signing out.
Thanks, guys.